Just a reminder, today's conference is being recorded.
Okay, hello everybody to this 20th XStepCafe. So, hooray, 20 already. Let's see how far this will go. And I've here Pascal, Peter, and Sue with me. Hopefully there are some others joining. I've got two things prepared to show to you. I also want to make a wrap up of the latest things I posted in the blog, maybe just to point out things, maybe, and and also give you the opportunity to ask questions, of course. So, is there anything you like to ask to me, or any comments?
Yes. As I said, we are making our first PI sheet with XSteps, and I'm at a moment I try to think about the structure of the tree, and do you have a best practice how to build up the tree, and how many links and references in the tree should be, or
That's a very, very common question. I think I have answered it, I think, at least 3 or 4 times in this blog, but it's never mind, it's okay. I mean, there's no really golden rule to set up your structure. Really, I mean, it must make sense for you, and you have to, of course, you have to think beforehand how to set it up so that you don't have a mess later on. You can, I mean, if you can. Start. First of all, I mean, maybe you have already heard that we have a pilot node out there in the OSS that allows you to have a Crossplant repository for XStep.
Yes.
It's also in the blog. So if you have that, of course, it is a good idea to create one folder for common XSteps and folders for plant-specific ones, maybe.
Okay.
Of course, if you are a bigger company, I know you're a more mid-sized German pharmaceutical company
right.
here, but if in case of global company, you might also maybe create folders for regions or something like that, and then drill down further on. Then, of course, you can decide to create folders for departments or more logical groups of maybe of different product groups. You might to distinguish those. And that's maybe the basic layout.
And then as I said, we are making the first PI sheet. And we make it for one branch, and in this we plan 4 or 5 recepts, and with a different setup. But in every recept we have parts that are common. And would it better to make a reference to a standard XStep, or to copy it in every receipt? Or
sure. I mean, that's of course one of the strengths of the XSteps that you can do these references. Yeah. So I mean, it is very convenient to use these references, and you can change it in one place, and then it gets sort of changed in all the recipes that use it.
Even with versions? Even when I use the versioning?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the versions in the XStep repository, they are just dependent on the date, right? So
okay.
So what you use in the recipe is a reference to an SXS, right?
Yes.
And in the repository, the versions are under an SXS. So you just say, okay, I want to use this SXS. And then later on, when you create an order, then that order has an explosion date, and that explosion date is then used to decide which of the versions is then taken, right? So that's what you would do there. Of course, you need to check with all your validation whether that your QS is fine with that concept, with these references. In regulated environment, that's sometimes an issue.
Yes.
So you just have to discuss it really what to do there.
In our environment, it would be an issue. At least if you, or the only chance to work with a reference is that you can not change the reference anymore as soon as you are using it. That would be the issue. But then you would ask, why do I need a reference if I'm not supposed to change it anymore?
Yes, exactly.
What do you mean by it's not possible to change it anymore?
A reference means whenever I'm creating out of the recipe a process order, this reference is going to be active and is copying the instructions or by reference to my process order.
That's true, yeah.
If I'm not changing the recipe, the QA would assume that the instructions that are copied to my process order may or must not be different from the copies that I had the last day with the same recipe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I said, that this might be an issue. There is a customer who is solved with some custom development. So they have a sort of a counter in the recipe which also captures sort of the differences in all the SXS references. So that's some of the workarounds which is around there. I mean, to be on this validation regulated environment, to be on the very safe side, of course, you can always say, okay, I just use these references as templates. I'm exploding them in the recipe.
Yeah.
So then it's fixed, and then it's all business as usual.
Actually, it's the same process or problem that you would have if you were using or if you are using a function module and you find an error in the function module and you are fixing it.
And it's the same when you change a text of a material component. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you change something in a characteristic, for example, that you use for a drop-down list, right? So it's the very same thing. Yeah. Exactly.
I know it in detail, but try to explain it to QA.
Yes.
No chance.
I mean, what you have to do is really you have to put things openly on the table, and then find maybe a compromise on how to be compliant anyway.
What we've done is we run the find option on the reference when we have to make a change. So we determine the impact of that change.
Yeah, you're using the by use list.
Right.
Yes,
right.
Yes, that's what it was done for. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. Yep.
But it's a very good example if you are mentioning the characteristics, because the characteristics are master data. If you are changing a characteristic from, let's say, 20 characters to 30 characters, the same characteristic, it's automatically used in the next process order with 30 characters. You can increase characters.
Yes. Yes.
So it's same problem.
same thing. Yes.
It's safer to use a new one.
Yes.
Yeah, but how can you prevent it?
Yeah, and that's also a good point, Sue. I mean that, especially if you are talking about function modules. What I always recommend is you create a function module, and at the end you make an underscore 001 for the first version of that function module, and then if we're talking about function modules that you use in a PI sheet, and then if you want to change something, you really copy it and copy it to the version underscore 002, and then make a new version in your SXS, and then use that one instead. Then you're really completely separated there.
Yeah. I agree 100%. The problem is usually with function modules, I'm only changing function modules if I'm finding errors in it. and then I don't want to have a new version because otherwise the old wrong version would be active.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Can I ask a question about that Crossplant repository note, Arnie?
Sure.
Is that back portable to 4.7, or is that only available in ECC 6? Do you know?
Let me think.
Because I did come across that note the other day, and
let's
I don't think I kept it.
Let's just. I mean, why not showing something first of all? Give me the screen here. Okay. Do you see my blog now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's the right screen then. So let's check here. I've got here the entry here in my. And that's,
it was in your blog that I saw that.
Yes.
That's what I saw. Yes.
So it's that one, and
1124677.
it says EHP3, so I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So this node you won't see because it's a pilot node, yeah. So it's you have to request it. But let's have a look at the. It says no. It's 603, so it's enhancement X3.
So it won't be available to EA APPL 200 or.
Yeah. That's I think correct. I'm not sure whether that's. Most of the time they try to downgrade it as much as possible. So if they decided not to do it only to EHP3, there must be a reason for it, maybe. So, I mean, you're in contact with Uwe anyways. You can ask him. But,
okay.
Just like that. So let's. Maybe let me just point out to you what I did since the last session. So I had several blocks now entered here. It's the example with tabular parameters, which I have already explained in some other sessions already. I have here a nice example here. I also wanted here to point out a consulting solution that basically I have created, and that was at the customer where Pascal here is on our line right now. He's working there. That was my first pilot project for that consulting solution. It's the weighing dispense system with a PI sheet. And Pascal, you're still happy with it?
Yes, it works fine.
Great to hear. So you're also planning to upgrading it with the XSteps, or are you only doing it for packaging right now?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
I think we have several places where we can use XSteps, but not upgrading the weighting system.
Okay.
I think this would be too much at this moment.
Okay. And so here. That one is sort of ongoing, so I'm still when I have time working on it. But it's about style sheets. So whenever you want to create your own style sheet, you might have those who have maybe already done it. You probably struggled with the XSL, which is quite a big document, and you might not know what these different templates really mean, and I wanted to highlight this, and so the way to read through this is basically, so this is from top to bottom. That's also the way the style sheet is structured. So the first template, and the XSL style sheet is always working with templates. So it starts with a root node, so and then it sets up so that in this structure the basic HTML document structure, so with HTML tags and the header documents, and then it calls other templates, and that's how it goes on and on. And so the next template here is the PI sheet header, so that's this one here. Then there's some basic PI sheet structure, so all these things you see, the basic structure in total. And then you have the face template here, which then creates the phase container layout on the HTML for the phase, and then it goes on here with the simple instructions, and then you really go into the details. So here you call all the templates for the simple instructions like input, output, function call, which is called execute. So and I plan to, on the bottom, I plan to include them there as well, so that you have the full picture here of all these style sheets structure. I think that's quite helpful, and one of the guests here found this obviously as well, giving me 5 stars.
This is definitely helpful, and I will visit it. I did not know that you have it, but I was trying to change the XSL structure, and it's a pretty complex document.
Yes,
and
yes,
this
I know.
structure helps.
Yeah, so that was one thing, and yes.
This is Raghu.
Hi, Raghu.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And I have a small question in the style sheet. And right now we have each phase following by the other phase. It's like the same page is scrolling all the way down. Is there any way to have each phase, like each page, scrolling side by side, like a paper, book pages?
Of course, yes, but it's. With HTML you can do virtually anything, but keep in mind that the one control recipe is really one document at the time. So if you want to show only one phase at a certain time, you have to hide all the other phases. So you can, of course, create a completely new style sheet where you say, okay, I start with one phase with full screen, so it only shows the phase. Of course, you have to think, well, if I have multiple instructions there, you have still to scroll, or you have to at least make sure that there's only one instruction per phase, which fits the screen. But you could do that, and then you could, for example, maybe have big buttons at the top which says forward, backward, and then you press on the forward and you get to the next phase. And then you sort of hide this phase and display the other phase. Which of course means that still all the things have to be loaded. So all the phases will be loaded then, and you just hide certain things.
Okay, but it's going to be a big development again.
Yeah, sure. It's always you have to have skilled people with XML and style sheet and knowledge there.
Okay, and thank you. And
yeah, you're welcome.
Possibly.
Okay,
so.
Yeah. So I'll just post a comment here on the chat to make this little mark for the recording, and because I now want to highlight something here, this the today's post I did, and that's basically I just explained. We have a customer, and they are redoing a lot with their process engineers. They really change things in the XStep repository. So really also on short notice, they want to really change process parameters there for their production orders. They actually use production orders, and they use the XSteps for external systems. So they really download that control recipe to an external system. But the thing is, if they create orders beforehand, maybe 1 week before or 2 weeks before the actual execution, and then a few days before, or even when they execute the first operations which don't have the XSteps yet. So the order might already be released, but the XSteps not yet, the control recipe not yet created, but they have their old version is already released and it's fixed, right? So they cannot change it anymore. And now they see, okay, we have to change certain parameters, but so the only thing they can do is they can create a new version for the standard XStep for the current date, but it cannot be made active for an existing order with an explosion date in the past, because the SXS is always using the explosion date in the order for to check which version to take. I already spoke on that earlier here this day. Right. So now we decided to create a node, and it's just brand new. It's fresh from the press today, released here. This one here, which creates a new BAdI. So you can implement custom code there, where you decide which explosion date actually to use. Right. I have created also a small document here how to implement that BAdI, but that should be standard here. There is also a custom, an example coding there, which you can copy here, which is just setting a fixed date to a fixed order number. So it's really not of any use really at all, but it just shows you the principal concept. However, I briefly made another coding here, which makes use of a user status in the order, because I thought, well, maybe if you don't want to switch it totally, so that it's always the current date of the explosion date. So I said, okay, I want to use a user status, and I use the user status, and I use a status selection schema, which is a standard way of doing this. Selection via status, user system status or user status. And yeah, I'd like to show this to you. First of all, is there any question on that right now?
Again, Arnie, just like same old question. Is this node applicable back to 200 APPL 200?
Let's see.
Should be,
no. It's
no?
Well, I have just helped to release it, and it's only for ECC 6. So
okay.
I could ask the developer whether it's possible to downgrade that. I will note that down, and I'll come back to you if that's
Great,
possible.
thank you.
So you could also use this?
Yes. Yep, because
okay.
we've had issues with using the explosion date versus using system date.
Mm-hmm.
And so this would give us a little more flexibility on how what we would decide to use there.
Great. So I'll just show you what I did here. So I have first of all, let's show you first the XStep repository. Here I've got a standard XStep with 2 versions. So one is from beginning of this year till end of May. So I could only create an example where I have an order in the future. So to demonstrate this, and I've got another version which is valid from the 1st of June this year. Okay. Now I have, let's say, I don't know. That one here. So I've got this order, and I've got a status profile. Maybe I'll just also briefly show you. It's BS02. So there I have created a new status schema. This is it. I created one user status to it. Of course, if you're already using a status scheme, a status profile, you could just add it to that. So that's my status here. And I assigned it obviously to that order here. Here you go. And I also created a selection schema for this, which looks like that. And these are the conditions. So it's a user status from this profile. It's the status, and it should be active. So that's the status selection schema I'm using here. And going back to that piece of code, so that's basically, maybe I'll just show it better in the coding itself. It's maybe more useful. So this is the enhancement spot here. I've got, this is my implementation, my class, and my method. Here's it. So that's what I did. First of all, you have to get this object number for the status object. So that's always the OR with the order number with leading zeros with a 12-digit number. So you have to do this. This is my selection schema, and that's a function module I just found, which was quite useful here to use. So I'm passing here the order and the selection schema, and it returns just a flag which says, okay, fulfilled or not fulfilled. And then if that is fulfilled, I just set here this explosion date to current date, and that's it. Okay, let's first of all just remove that flag, and now you see here in the master data, you see the explosion date is the 2nd of June, so it should take the second version. I'm going to the XSteps, I'm exploding it, and here you go, second version. I reset it, I go to the header, I set the status, go back to the XSteps, explode again, first version. Okay, that's it. Any other comments? How do you like it? The others? Would you find this useful as well?
Mm-hmm. This is very useful.
Yeah.
Okay. glad we could do some really useful stuff today. Great. Okay. So that's also you can here, as I said, you can read it here in the blog. And that was my first point I wanted to discuss. Any other things? Let's just make this break here. Other things, other questions in the meantime?
Arne?
Yes?
I have a couple of questions. First one is really the basic one. If we use the older method of BA sheet, if we want to use the batch number, I mean for actual batch and then assigned batch, we have to have one more characteristics for the actual batch, right? We can use only one time the PPPA batch, and then next one is PPPA batch or something. But for XSteps, we can use the same PPPA batch for two parameters, right?
That's correct, because for XSteps, the characteristics are only used to determine the format of the parameter.
That's it, right?
So therefore, you can use them multiple times, and with classical process instructions, you just have to copy that standard characteristic and create a new one set characteristic. That's true.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And
okay.
I have another question. If you use a dynamic function call to go to the quality QM transaction, and maybe if you want to alert the operator to put the results each for every 60 minutes, like a time factor is 60 minutes, is there any way to have an alert in the PA sheet for every 60 minutes to record the results?
Yes, I think you could do that. However, I mean, you must be aware of the fact that if the PI sheet is just not active, so not open, nothing will happen, right? So if the PI sheet is always open, so if you've got on the shop floor, you've got this terminal, and during the whole order, the PI sheet is always running, then of course you can do such thing. And the way you would do it is, for example, you could create a broadcast event. So what you have to do is to set up a job. First of all, you have to create a report that creates that broadcast event. And there's a report. Let me think. Hold on, I'll just check whether I can find that quite quickly. Oops, more than. Okay. RC, yeah. Function group, package. That was what I was looking for. Okay. No, that's not that one. Well, I don't find it right now. There is somewhere a report that you could take as a basically you could use that report exactly and just create a job with it. Maybe I could maybe check it out, and maybe you might find a blog entry soon there. So it's a sort of a timer every 15 minutes. Yeah.
Actually, that time is the value is in the process order. The time factor 60 minutes. It may vary for different process orders.
So okay. Yeah. So because what I just had in mind is you could create an event every 15 minutes, and then every PI sheet could register on that event, and then whenever that event is coming, you could do this. However, if you want to do this, then you would need to do more things. Of course, you would still need sort of an event that you subscribe to, and if your intervals you have there are minimal 1 minute, then you could create this job which runs every minute. So to set this, tagged, so this minute tagged, and so that every minute you get a broadcast event, which is 1 minute past, 1 minute past. Okay, so please don't do it every second or something like that. Yeah. So 1 minute should be, I think, okay. But you have to talk with your basis guys whether a report that runs every minute is an issue. I don't know. So if you have got this tagged event, then you can create this function module and create a counter parameter in your setup, so that you every event you count, you increase that counter with 1, and then you have this condition which is a value, and then every time you increase it, you check, okay, is it already above that threshold? And if yes, then you take any action, like a pop-up or something like that. And you set this counter to 0 again, of course. Something like that you could do.
Yeah. Thanks for that idea. And the one more thing is the parameters for the program, the value and counter every 60 minutes or every 2 hours. This is coming from the inspection setup from the process order, like a time factor, time interval for every inspection point. So the 60 minutes or 1 hour, that is a dynamic for.
It's from the inspection lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you would need to evaluate that somehow.
Yeah, but that point is not it's not fixed. It's flexible. They can record inspection result at any point of time, but the pop-up is the standard once for every time.
I mean, if you know this in the setup, you could also use a custom function module that takes the order number and finds out the inspection lot, and then you have to provide which inspection characteristics you're looking right now for that, and then it would look there and check, okay, what is the time here? I'm not the QM expert here, huh? So and then it would return that time, and then you have your value, and then the other function that I explained before would then use that.
Yeah, there are two things. One is reading process order QM value, then return the value, then the value is the input parameter for the next program, the standard one for creating the counter, right? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Peter, Sue, Pascal, anything from you?
This is Stu. I have a question. Basically it's sort of on business process, but for those of you who have connected to an OPC server to a scale, and I noticed, Arne, you talked about your blog about weighing and dispensing. Are you providing your users with a manual override for the weight, or are you strictly receiving the weight from the scale into the PI sheet?
Yes,
I can give you an example how we are doing it.
So first of all, Sue, we have two people here on the chat. So first is Peter from Abbott. They have used OPC for weighing, and Pascal here, as I explained, they are using this consulting solution also with PI sheet and OPC. So Peter, go ahead.
We are having both possibilities, but we are having two different tables underneath each other. The difference is for OPC reading, we do have an automatic value which must not be overridden, and if you are using it, you have to sign it by one digital signature. If you are using the manual value, you are using the other table, the alternative table, which are just underneath the automatic table, and you have to sign it by two digital signatures. And the value of both added components is written to the database. So, for example, you might have the process that you are starting with your OPC weighing automatically, and then you have a problem in the network or something's broken. You can continue manually, and these additional manually values are added.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah, but it's not allowed to override such a value.
Right. Yep.
I don't know, Pascal, could you maybe explain how you do it at DHU?
Yes, we are every function, every connection with the wage is in a function. So you are using a button to call the values of the wage, and in different times we are using manual values, so for Tara or for setting some values, but normally we really use the value from the wage, so that there can't be any wrong value or such a thing.
Okay, so you have a button here that shows manual input allowed.
Yeah,
and so then you
no. That's just an example from me. That's not from.
Yes.
So you're not. When you override with a manual input, you have to make that an entry field, not just an output field from the scale. Correct?
Yes. No. We have a table with a button in it, and every step of the process is started with this button. So if you click the first time on the button, you get the Tara. This one would be manual. The second click would make the waging, and this would take the automatic value, and so on. And in the end of the function, we give all the values back to the PI sheet. So the whole logic of the weighting is outside of the PI sheet. It's in a function.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And so we can in different we can have different ways of giving the values.
Yeah, Sue, I've got a screenshot here.
Yes.
And so that's basically the scenario there. So the idea here was this master button is always pressed, and this is on that field here you see which action is coming next. So first initializing, then setting 0, then tearing, then setting weight. And if you put something here, so here you see this is a drop-down list for, and it means special action. If it's empty, it's always using what is default here. And if you put using something from here, like manual weight, you press that button, and then the button says, okay, the function module goes to another function which creates a pop-up, I think, Pascal?
Yes.
Where you can enter the weight manually.
Yes, it's all with pop-ups. If you click on the button in the front, there will be a pop-up for the Tara, there will be a pop-up for setting 0 and so on. And every action you made is in a pop-up, and the values are given back to the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a neat thing. Yeah. So very very comfortable. I can also show you some other idea, and another customer from SAP is doing it more that way. So they have a real long table, right? And for every OPC action, they have something. So they have a button which actually does the OPC action, and they have a manual override. So for example, like this. Or an input field where they enter a manual weight, and then they have a validation function behind it, because normally this shouldn't happen. So normally you would press that button to get that value, and you also have a manual field, and then you have a hidden calculation function which then decides, okay, if there's something in the manual field which is not 0, then I take that field. And if that is 0, I take the other field, which is hopefully then also not 0, because I pressed the button and I filled that value before, right? Of course, that will fill up your table quite a bit if you have all these elements in a row. So it's probably a better idea to think about a more convenient central function module that would do that.
Okay. Good. That's 3 good options.
And for example, you could set this manual mode like I did it here. You just say yes here, and that function here would then also look up here. Okay, am I supposed to get a manual value? Then I just raise a pop-up and give the user the possibility to enter something. If no, then I use the OPC function. Yes, okay. And that's of course maybe there's in the normal standard elements for the XSteps. There's let's go to the.
So we have not raised pop-ups yet, and I'm wondering if that's because we're at 4.7 or.
No, that's a standard possibility.
We have pop-ups for signatures, but we haven't
for example,
done any pop-ups for entry.
Yeah, let me show you this. So this is in that example here. So this is a weighing table here, and I've used a similar function as at the customer here. So I press the button, and now a pop-up comes up, and that's just I could show you the code. So it's just a standard function module that calls a pop-up and raises this pop-up, and you enter something and it returns some value.
Yes, but it's not a PI sheet standard. It's a SAP
ABAP.
standard.
It's ABAP.
Yes, it's purely ABAP.
Okay, so we need to have the ABAP code for the pop-up.
Exactly.
Because I didn't think there was anything in the XStep that would create
No, that's just purely ABAP function module. See, and now it is a different one, and with tear as well. I press a button. No, I didn't change something here. So, and here on wait, I have this, and this would be the manual mode in that case. And I'm using this for demoing because it's quite convenient when I don't have to connect a scale every time I do a demo.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that pop-up is just the ABAP function module that you call on that field.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. That's very helpful. It was worth the hour on the call.
I mean, if you have your ABAP developers, I believe you have those guys at your company. They will surely know what they could use there to raise a pop-up and return some value. It's plain ABAP. They should know this. Yeah.
Good. We can do that.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is this a good time to talk about signature strategies, or if others have found the same behavior that I've found, or? No.
You could do that, yeah. I think DHU had the same issue as well, Pascal. Maybe so you can.
I don't know what the issue is, so maybe you can tell.
Yeah, well, I can explain. We obviously are using XSteps. We have a lot of tables, and if you enter all the values in, let's say, in row 1 of the table and do not sign the row, and then proceed and add a second row and fill in the second row with all of its mandatory values and sign the second row, the first row is automatically signed as well.
Yes.
And so from a process standpoint, that causes great issues with our QA department, who says that the signatures have to occur by the operator and not in any automated fashion.
Yes.
So we have had some OSS notes downported for us, and we seem to have eliminated the behavior from a phase signature perspective, where if we sign the phase off, all the completed rows would also sign off automatically, but we're still having an issue with the signatures within a table where the previous rows are being signed off automatically. And I didn't know if anybody else is in a 4.7 environment and has come upon this or has been able to resolve it in 6.0 or where everybody is with this. Is it okay in your companies to have this happen?
No, we have the same issue. So at the time we are using the ERP6 with enhancement package 3, and in 4.7 it worked. So if you make the signature to obligatory with the process message, it should be able to sign one line after another. So if you sign the second,
we've done that. We have set PPPI signatures mandatory as entry required for the characteristic, and we have
in the process message. Okay.
Yep, and still letting us do this.
Then it is, I think, an error. I opened a message, OSS message, this morning, where I exactly have this problem in ERP 6.0, and a guy from the second level support said this is an error, and he's trying to fix it.
Okay.
So I
think this was not an issue with PICs. This has only been an issue for us with XSteps.
In the new release, yeah. So you.
Well, I'm not in a new release. I'm still in 4.7. So we've applied a lot of OSS notes to get us up to to a certain level, but we're still in 4.7. In our 4.7 PIC world, this was not an issue. It worked as expected.
Okay.
But in the XSteps world now, we're still having this. We're having this issue.
Yeah. So it's under investigation, and there are several messages open. I know. So hopefully we can figure this out.
So I should feedback then to OSS that I'm still having the issue, and that I've applied certain notes, and that the phase, like I said, it looks like the phase signature issue has gone away. I'm going to do some more testing this morning. But I'm still definitely having the row signature issue still.
Arne.
Yes.
This is good. This question is for everybody. Is anybody come across this issue like discarding the control recipe or PA sheet from the process order for the XSteps? It's throwing up above dump error. Anybody come across this kind of issue? Anybody tried discarding the PA sheet? I mean the control recipe from the process order.
From within the, there is an OSS note about deleting them in the proper order. So if you have a control recipe generated, you need to delete that control recipe from CO60 and not from a PICRST message.
Yeah, that I know, but there is a new add-on for the enhancement pack 3 or 4, I am not sure. But you can instead of going to CO60 to discard the PA sheet, you can discard the PA sheet from the process order itself. So that functionality is not working for XStep, it's working for the old method of creating PA sheet.
It's not working for the XSteps, or it's not working for process instruction? Not for XSteps.
Yeah, not for XSteps. It's throwing some above error message. I have created the OSS note. They are currently working on the code. It has been almost more than 2 months. But I'm just wondering if anybody got the same kind of issue.
Let me just check here.
Yeah.
You get a system dump when you try to do that?
Yes.
Or do you get a corrupted control recipe?
So it's like above dump error when you try to start the process order. Yeah, I think Arne is going to do that.
Somehow it's already generated. So let's see. Raghu, help me out. Which EHP was that again?
Yeah. Now it's already been sent, or you got to send it through CO53, the manual.
No. That enhancement is it in HP3 or is it later?
EH3.
EH3, okay.
Yeah.
So you say I have to send it before, yes?
Yes. Yeah, you got to create a PA sheet. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Then. Yeah. Then go to order.
I'm gonna get back to the order.
Then the operation.
What?
In the operations tab. In the operation. And go to the operation up there. Or you have to select the phase and then operation.
I'm not sure where you're guiding me.
I'm sorry. Just go back. I'm sorry. It's in the top menu. In the go to operation systems. In that operation, the top. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, the operation in the top. Process order edit. Good. Then come to the last one.
Here.
Part PA sheet. Yeah. The last one. Yeah.
I know. I've been involved in the development, but I don't know all by heart. I'm very sorry.
No. That's okay. Maybe I'm.
So I did that. Let's have a look. Is there a?
Yeah, for you it's working. CO60.
So there's no.
You can go to the state. Maybe in the status of the process order, you can find.
Oh, it's still there. So.
Generate.
I think I think what you have to do there is
have to send another
you have
message?
to do it. No. I remember again. I think you have to do it from within the XStep area here.
Oh.
Okay, I have to select that XStep tree here. Discard work instruction PI sheet, and there we go.
Oh, very good. Actually,
Discard cancel entry. There we go. Okay, that's it. Oh.
In the enhancement pack 3, it's explained like from the operation page. So
yeah, but that's only that's only for process instructions. Yeah.
Okay.
It should be in the documentation though. This difference between XSteps and the process instructions.
Yeah, in the enhancement 3 documentation is not there. That's why I tried the same page in the operation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was an enhancement in the HP3 to be able to discard a PR sheet from within the order.
Yeah, and I have created the OSS notes here, and still they are working on the coding or something. I don't know. They should have.
Let's not discuss OSS messages here too much because that's taken care of by somebody else.
I have one more question.
Sure, Sue, go ahead.
Arnie, we're experiencing a dump from the XStep repository, and I'm wondering if others are experiencing the same thing. And when we should put in
general remark on this: if there is a dump, that's always an error. There shouldn't be a dump in a system, right? So I mean, it's an uncaught exception. It's not acceptable. So you always create an OSS message for that.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was a series of OSS notes that I hadn't applied, but I couldn't find one in this area. It's when you copy an XStep into another XStep and then undo, you get an immediate dump. On undo if you haven't saved in the middle.
Best if you can reproduce it, fine.
Yep,
so describe it as good as possible, and then create a message, please.
Yep, I will do that. Great, thank you.
Okay. Okay, with this, I think we have another XStepCafe session in the can, and if there's no pressing question that comes from anybody else, I don't want to suppress anyone. Is there anything else?
What I would think would be interesting, and we've run out of time, so maybe for the next one, Arnie, is maybe a general discussion around how to build a PI sheet to maintain acceptable performance levels, because we have cast the die here in the way we do things, and I think some of the things we've decided on have impacted our response time for the user on the shop floor. And so
there is a common
general discussion around that.
In here in the XStepCafe, there's a section for topic discussion. I don't know whether you've been there before. That's meant for what you just said. I mean, just for topic discussion. So what should be discussed in a maybe upcoming XStepCafe session or something like that. And there's this guy here said the same thing basically. So performance is a thing which is very complex. Can be have different reasons why performance is not good. We can discuss that. You can also reply on that and say, okay, can add to that? Yes, please.
Yep, I can do that. Yeah.
So, of course.
Good.
Okay. Anything else? If not, then I wish you all a pleasant day and week.